G'day YouTube, my name's Lance. Welcome to Bundy Bear's Shed. The weather report, 20 to 30. So yeah, it was nice and warm last night on top of the bed. Wasn't too bad at all. We've had lovely sunny days, just beautiful days. And yeah, we've been out, well, probably low humidity. The humidity's started to build up again today. It's just around 6 in the morning. The sun's not up yet. I can see through the trees where, you know, the glow's coming in the trees for it to brighten up the day. But yeah, it's a little bit cloudy today. Not too bad, but you can feel the humidity's there. We had, over the weekend, we had nice crisp nights and the humidity was out of the day. And I put in a couple of big days out in the paddock here, cleaning up the trees and that from where we had the fence cleared last year. So yeah, in Queensland, we felt it was just too hot through summer to do it. So we've got one pile pretty well done. Yeah, it's just about, we'll probably do a little bit of stick picking. I've got to get the loader over and spread it out a little bit. Then we'll probably do one last run over there stick picking, and that'll be ready for the slasher to go over again. I have been running the slasher over as we clean little pieces up. And the next heap up, we pulled a big log out of that over the weekend and cut the stump out and dragged it over on the fire. And the little fire out the front of the shed here where we burn our rubbish, not last Friday, but the Friday before, we lit it. Yeah, I think that was Easter Friday, we lit the fire. It hasn't been out since. We just keep, every night, every morning, we stir it up. And every morning before Judy comes to work, I jump up and I'm in at work by 6, you know, sometimes earlier. And yeah, Jude comes up the back with the wheelbarrow and she goes over to the heap and she'll get one, probably only one, but sometimes 2 loads of sticks and things to put on the fire to keep it going. Then when I come home, last week I'd jump on the loader and grab the chainsaw and the loader and we'd knock the heads of the tree into manageable lengths, about as big as the bucket. And yeah, I'd do a couple of loads across at that. So, but some of the timber in that last big tree I did, it was just too good to waste on the fire at this stage. I've cut it into lengths about you know, a bit over a foot long for the wood burner, the fireplace up in the pool room for winter. So we've got some lovely wood there, but that of course takes time, you know. Then you've got to pick it all up and bring it in the bucket. Then I pick it up with the loader bucket on the John Deere 1640. Then I bring it over to the wood heap and just tip it out. So now I've got 2 or 3 buckets full of stuff that we got to, we actually keep it in lines, you know, stacked neatly. Pardon me. Yeah, just to some of the wetter wood when we first started, so the ends were open to the air and it would dry out. But some of this wood here, that 12 months or so, it wouldn't even be 12 months yet, I don't think, but look, it'd have to be close. It seems to be drying out and burning really well. So, so we're going down, picking up all the big old stumps and roots and things like that. The first heap down near the dam, like I've done about 2/3 of the way up, I suppose. I did that while it was fresh, but now I made the mistake of actually pushing one of the heaps up, and I thought I'd be able to push it up near the fence there and burn it. But that's the one that we reworked this last week or fortnight. And yeah, I had a look at the Rural Fire Brigade thing and it said with, oh, bloody mosquito. It said, yeah, that we can't have a fire within 10 metres of the boundary, and like it was probably 6 metres to the boundary. So I don't know if I told you last week or whether it was after last week, I was there spreading out a bit of dirt and old mate from up the back stands over on his grass is 1 metre high, and he stands over there with his arms folded looking what I'm doing, and like he's 20 feet from me where I'm working and just stands there, and then next thing the camera comes out and I don't know, I don't know what he's up to. I don't really care, he's just a bloody bit of aggravation for your day. But we sort of all laugh about him now. We reckon when he pegs out we're having a party. So all the neighbours, yeah, they reckon, oh, how do you put up with that bloke? And I said, oh, well, you know, we don't have a lot to do with him, but yeah, we're working in our own paddock and he's there standing there with the camera taking photos of what we're doing, so who knows. I think Jude's coming. Yeah, hang on a sec. Yeah, that was just Judy coming up the back. We got onto a Ford wrecker in Australia for that manifold for the Petrol 2000. And I've been talking to Biddy, the owner, and he said, oh, look, he's in no hurry, just whenever we find something. So there's a fella called, for Ford parts and Fordson parts, called Richard's Parts in, I think it's Dubbo, and we're talking to him. Just had a chance, like I was talking to Gordon Ellis last week, the Fergie fella, and Gordon's chasing up a gear, the front PDO input gear, for me for the 65 gearbox here, because he's a bit of a Fergie wrecker, and he said, oh, he'll have a look and he'll send me a photo and all that. So anyway, this fella rang Gordon to see about a bracket for a Fordson power assist cylinder. And so, yeah, Gordon put him on to us because they've been mates for years apparently. So Gordon, this bloody mosquito giving me the shits. So Gordon put him on to us and he rang up. So we're bringing the part in from Ireland. No, from Agriline. That one's coming from Agriline, a bracket for that. And so as an Agriline agent, we said, yeah, we'll bring it in with our next order. So it's on the way. But yeah, got talking to him. And he was saying that him and Gordon work in, like if he gets a request for Ferguson parts, used Ferguson parts, well, Gordon, he forwards them to Gordon, and Gordon does the same with Ford and Fordson, which we never knew of his existence even. He hadn't got a website or anything, so he's probably all Gordon's age, I'd imagine. And so, yeah, he reckons that petrol 3-cylinder engine in the Ford 2000 of Biddy's, he reckons that was used in some compressors, and he knows a couple of wreckers down south, down in Victoria way somewhere, and he holds high hopes that they'd have the manifold for us. So yeah, Judy just come up there now. I do have photos of it, but she come and got the manifold and she's taken it to work this morning, and it's got the part number on it and, you know, the casting numbers and all that, because she was just talking to him last week about it, and yeah, I didn't have the numbers with me or anything, so we had to get back to him today, Monday. So so yeah, look, we may find a manifold, who knows. Yeah, hope so, and that'll help Biddy out no end, and I'll have to get that going for Biddy. But anyway, always something to do around here. So yeah, through the week, the main PDO input shaft, it's got the 10 spline, the big 10 spline at the outer shaft, goes into the gearbox on the 65. Yeah, Gordon's having a look for one of those for me. I think I'm okay with everything else. We'll see. Apart from working in the paddock, when I needed a rest on the paddock because I was getting worn out through the week, well, Saturday morning, late morning in the heat of the day a bit, I come into the shed and I've swept the shed out, I've cleaned up the mess from stripping the gearbox, I've put the David Brown back out in the carport so I could get the gearbox housing out, and I've taken the gearbox housing out the back door, pressure cleaned it, degreased it, done all that, and now I'm at the stage of tidying up the paint on the background, you know, on the outside, stripping it down. So last time on the 65 series, when I showed how I strip paint and neutralise it with rust converter and things like that, people were saying about these stripper discs. So I've bought a 5-inch 125mm stripper disc for one of my grinders, so we might set the camera up later and I'll just run through that, just see how it works. And the reason for cleaning up here is I want to be able to clear this bench behind me, so I need to make myself a little table to put all these gearbox parts on, and then wash them one by one, and then have a look at the 6-speed out of the 35 and the 6-speed out of the 65, and pick the best parts that are interchangeable so we get the best gearbox possible. So we've got a few good options there, but I'd like to clear the bench, and as we work through the shafts, yeah, we'll be able to film as we go. So I can get the bottom shaft back in, the top shaft in, the reverse idler in, but at this, and the planetary on the back, but at this stage I won't be able to put the front housing on until I sort this gear out. So yeah, our serial number is 580015, and that gear, there was 3 different gears, so it's important to get the correct gear. So that's where we're having a bit of strife. But look, we will get there. It'll go again, no worries. And another thing that, well, I've been talking about CAD plating some of my own parts, and some of the chains and some of the pins and just little bits and pieces around the tractor. I've been wanting to CAD plate, and I've also wanted to do some of my own chrome work or nickel plating. I reckon, you know, try and do the whole lot just to, and it's a learning experience for me, and yeah, you might all tag along and enjoy yourselves and learn something too if we're not careful. I didn't want to do that with the, you know, you get like gases released, hydrogen gases, things like that released from the electrolysis process, whether you're cleaning parts or not. And it is an electrolysis process, you know, with a current going through. So up the other end in the hobby section there, I've put together, I started a month or more ago now, it'll be a while ago, and I finished that bench yesterday, and well, finished, one of those words, isn't it? But look, it's good enough, and it's a bench where I can put a couple of mats down. I can have a couple of buckets of little plastic buckets of solution and run current through and do that. So I'm slowly setting up for that, and I was doing that while I was having a rest from outside on the logs, because it knocks you around. The other day, must have been Saturday afternoon. Yeah, we had visitors Saturday evening. Saturday afternoon, there's some of the big bits, and though I normally would have cut them in half, but I thought, oh, look, I had the tractor and the bucket there, and Jude and I were just picking up sticks and getting another load ready for the fire. And I got this log, and it was pretty long, and I threw it into the bucket, but because it was a little boomerang shape, but when it hit the bucket, it flung it around and cracked me in the scone. Holy dooly. And my hat ended up about 10 feet away. I grabbed my head and I thought, holy, and I looked round to where Jude was, because I make sure I didn't hit her, but when she looked around, she heard the noise, and when she looked around, I was looking at her, and she thought I thought that she'd done it. So anyway, yeah, I've still got a lump on my scone here and a bit of bark off it. It's more of a graze than bark off, and so there's a lump up here with a bit of a graze there, and then over above my ear there's a graze down the side of my head from this thing. So anyhow, there goes me good looks. And but yeah, for the next half hour or so, didn't I have a headache? And but anyway, we kept working. It was getting dark, you know, it was cool in the arbour, and we kept going for another hour or two, and in the end I said to Jude, I'm just going to park up for a bit, I think. I got a bloody sore back, sore knee, sore head, you know, falling apart. Bloody old age catching up. So we did that. Then Judy's been using the wheelbarrow around the paddock, and I said, look, well, I'll get the John Deere, Massey Fergus 148 out, and she loves that little 148. So it's got a hydraulic leak in it, and the carryall on the back that we have, it lifts up, but when I jump on it, it drops down to the ground again. So yeah, it could be the standpipe O-rings or anything, but I just haven't got time to muck ass around with it. So I lifted it up to a certain height, and I've got a ratchet strap from the roll frame down, so yeah, she can load it up. So yeah, she was having a ball. She takes it right over to where the sticks are and loads it all up and brings it back. And yeah, she's a bit of a fire fiddler, loves playing with the fire. So yeah, look, I don't know how many barrow loads and tractor loads she's done over the weekend, and over last week, but yeah, probably 20 if it's one, I reckon. So at the moment there's a stump, and I'll probably show you later. She put this stump on the back of the tractor herself, and yeah, she got up this end and she said, oh, it's a bit heavy. I had a look at it and it was a bit heavy for me too. But anyway, she must have rolled it on, but later on I'll get the tractor and I'll shift it so I can just roll it onto the fire. So we'll see how we go. But so yeah, today, well, we had visitors yesterday too. Yeah, had Grumpy Dave in the morning. He had to have a new intercooler on his Nissan, so we checked that out yesterday morning. And then, building the bench up the end there. Of course, I had my safety thongs on. Well, this bit of wood fell off the bench and the corner of it straight down the side of my big toe. So anyway, I had a bit of claret running out. I had to go and get a rag and wrap it up because it was bleeding that much at me bloody on my thongs there. Yeah, it was getting slippery on my thongs. So anyway, I parked up and gave that a bit of a clean up and found a bit of rag in the shed here and wrapped it up in a bit of rag and all good. So I got boots on today. So I soaked out and put boots on. But yeah, and, yeah, you know that's going to happen when you got your thongs on sometimes. But yeah, it just got down the side of my nail, just bang straight through. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't hurt or anything now. It's just, yeah, I thought if I put my thongs on again today, that would be the very place something would fall. So I got my old work boots, my old steel cap work boots on today, just to protect that. And I've got scratches all up my leg from being in the bush, you know, tidying up. So anyway, it's been a busy week. So a busy week at home. On the camera that you're watching now, it's a Panasonic Lumix FZ300, and they've been great cameras. Like I had it was just a model before, whatever it was, an FZ80 might be or something, before this one, and the little spring on the zoom broke, so you'd be filming something that would just take off and zoom in on you. Well, this camera here, now and then when I try and zoom out, if I zoom in and try and zoom out, well, it won't zoom out. I've got to turn the camera off, turn it on, and then it'll work for a bit. So I'm reading the writing on the wall that the camera's going to fail, and I thought, well, I do have a GoPro here that I do some filming with. I don't use it an awful lot, but the sound quality on the Panasonic camera that you're viewing this on, it has a reasonable sound microphones on it, but it's an ambient sound, like it picks up all the noise from the shed, and that's why we wear these little microphones. So that goes across to the Tascam, and that cleans the sound up. It helps us with the sound. So the GoPro hasn't got the good sound as much, but what we do is I take the film, like this stew now, I'm filming the stew, I'm taking a separate sound recording, it's nothing to do with the film, and when we put the video footage from this camera into the software, well, we have a video line goes along, then we have an audio line underneath. Well, then I can put this audio line under that once more and and tell it to synchronise by audio. And when I start the video, like this soundbite here is soundbite 824. So I turn that microphone on, I turn that on, I say to the microphone here, I say sound 824, and I can see it come up on the scale there, so I know that this is on, that's on, you know, that it's all working because I can see it on the scale. And then when I come and turn the camera, I'll press record, I say sound 824, and so the software synchronises the sound. So I have the video audio, or the video track, the video audio, and the separate audio. So then I can, once I know it's lined up, I can make a cut in that, so, and get rid of just the fluff coming in sort of thing. And then the video and the audio, I can unlink those, get rid of the soundtrack off this camera, and slide the soundtrack off this in, and that's what I do every video. So, we've got the GoPro, but then what we've done through the week is we've bought some more cameras. Now, I've always wanted a drone, and DJI, I think it is, have these drones. They're good drones. A lot of the YouTubers have them for the ones that are doing travelling around Australia and all that we watch, and they have these DJ minis and things like that. So last week we bought and this is in preparation for our trip up to Cape York in August. So there's Judy and myself, Mick and Margaret and Dave and Jody. We're all heading up second week of August. 12th of August we leave here, and we're going up for 4 to 5 weeks. Up to the Cape York, and we want to camp on some of the lovely beaches up there and that. So part of it was buying it to record that trip, so we can get up and have a look at the beaches and the bays and all that. And those little things, they can go, I think it's 12 kilometres away or something. But anyway, look, they're amazing little things. So look, we bought one of them last week. Haven't got it yet. We've bought because your GoPro cameras in the cars and that, if they get hot, they just shut down. So we've bought that, and we've bought a little personal camera for doing the walk-arounds here and and away, and it's got a gimbal in it, so it takes the steps out. Because when I walk with this camera, and the GoPro takes it out, but it'll be better, they tell us. So we bought one of them, a little personal camera, and we can walk around with that, and it'll take the footsteps out, and it's got a 150-degree wide-angle lens, so that should be okay. And there's another small dual-screen action camera, and that there, it will actually go onto the toolbox. We've got this magnetic base coming with it, and I can sit it on this toolbox and look down to the bench and things like that. So still take the sound recording just to take the creaks out of the shed, but yeah, look, it should be okay. It should be good. And I'm going to test these smaller cameras. Like taking a big camera, it is bulky and it takes up space and things like that. But whether I film in HD, which is 1920 by 1080 or something like that. I can't recall. And I can't do it in 4K here because of our slow video upload speeds. So, but this camera is capable of 4K. All the new ones I've bought are 4K, and we are thinking. Look, we haven't committed to it yet, but our internet here is just woefully slow. If I do a stew that's 1 or 2 gigs, something like that. It'll take hours and hours for it to upload here. We get about 4 meg upload speed and 17 down. So in at work, we're 17 up and 50 download. So I try and take all the videos to work, and I try and upload them at work where we have a faster speeds. But we are tossing up at home here. And this is part of the retirement plan, so when we haven't got the shop we can go into and do that, about hooking up with Starlink. So look, and Starlink will be like Telstra. Like when we first got the internet here, it was quicker, and as they overload the system, it slows down and slows down. So we are thinking of starting up with Starlink. They've got a couple of good deals on at the moment, and with Starlink, minimum upload 50. 20 to 50 is often okay for upload, so we could swing across to 4K then and use it. But at the moment, we just don't because of the well, one thing, we're not doing cinematography. We're doing old shit in Lance's shed. So I believe what we do is okay, but we can go to 4K. YouTube wants us all to go to 4K, and they promote your videos better at 4K. So we'll just see. Just see what happens with that. The sun's just coming up through the trees there. You might see me getting a bit bright now. I don't know. It may be washing out. I'll go and close the door over a little bit.